Welcome into the Scene Project Sports Network. I am your host, Bubba Starts. You are here tonight for the first ever episode of 789, the premier baseball show on the planet. I'm joined by my co-host, Big B. What's happening, B?
Nothing. I'm glad we get the first week of baseball in. Weather's turning nice here in Minnesota. My bracket is still kind of hanging in there for the NCAA tournament, but I love this time because it's all about baseball now. And, in a couple months, we'll be watching the little leaguers on TV while we're watching the big leaguers. And, for me, it's just living out my childhood, when I get to talk baseball. So,
yeah, well, we got a special guest tonight that knows a little bit about Little League and knows a lot about balls. Shady, Grady, welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? What's up, guys? How are we?
That guy right there, Shady, he's probably could talk more ball. He probably knows more ball than me, you, and Coach Cody all put together in one. So
we got a lot of ball in the room.
Speaking of Cody, did he make it home from Wyoming yet?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but congrats to them on another W. Football aside, it's to me, it's baseball season. It's opening week. One of these times I'm going to have to take off work and get to opening day. I've never been to an opening day. I know it's just a regular baseball game, but there's just something about being at the first game. So
the first pitch of a new season, there's definitely something about it for sure.
Yeah. So, but I guess first off, since this is our premiere show, let's talk about the teams that we like to follow. Shady, I'll start with you. I know you got some connections in Seattle, but I don't know if that's the team you follow. But
yeah, no. All right, so repping the Braves. Born and raised down here in the South, so came from North Carolina, but definitely a Braves fan. Some story out of opening night with the Braves. Cannot remember the kid's name, but he hit a walk-off home run on opening night. His mom had passed like 3 months ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but it was his first ever game, rookie night. Hit a walk-off home run for the Bravos. Bravos are hurting right now. Pitching staff, everybody went down. Strider, Schwellenbach. I don't really even know who's pitching for the Braves right now, but they squeaked out a win, so we'll give them a little golf clap. But yeah, Seattle's starting off a little rocky as well. Cal Raleigh off to a 0-9 start, I believe, with 9 strikeouts.
Ooh.
So he's going to come out of it. They'll come out of it. So we got hot starts and cold starts there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Nope. I got it.
All that time off, B. I forgot how to run a show.
Yeah, but you're out for good reasons. But Bubba, I know you're a Vikings fan. Where's your baseball allegiance lie?
Yeah, grew up in the city of Chicago, man. That's where my family is all from. So grew up a diehard Cubs fan. Obviously they've had disappointing seasons, but we grew up with that. And they never pretended to be something else. So they've never pissed me off to the point where I renounced my Cubs fandom, like the Bears. So this is something that is near and dear to me. My grandma on my dad's side loved the Cubbies, and so got lots of fond memories. Obviously, being in the friendly confines at Wrigley Field, there's really nothing like it. And love the Cubs. Have been tuning in. Obviously, I've lived in South Dakota for most of my life, over 30 years now. So I really, continue to follow the team. Obviously, we have the MLB TV apps and things like that to be able to watch along. So, yeah, have always continued to follow the team. I really love the radio broadcast more than anything. Yeah. So I'll usually buy, TuneIn Radio, I think, app had them on. I don't know if they're still around or if they do it or if the MLB, everything kind of goes through the official app. But yeah, man, summertime's a great time for just being outside, right? And I think that's my favorite part about baseball is that the weather's always beautiful. There's nothing like going to a game. You got 162 chances for those moments that change our lives, right? Even if you're just a fan watching the game and watching a walk-off home run, if you're in the stadium, and like that energy to me. And I think that's why I love the game of baseball so much, right? I think a lot of people find it really boring, right? Like, how do you get through it? It's so long, and it's like for those brief moments in the stadium or on the field, everything's on one man or another. And as a player, I played through high school. I loved it. I loved it and didn't really, it was probably the one sport that I may have had a chance. If I wanted to go on and continue to play in college, I maybe would have, had a chance to walk on in baseball, just rangy. I was a center fielder for the back half of my career, always played in the outfield, but great eyesight and instincts. So yeah, man, I love it. I love being out on the grass and, now as a fan and someone raising small children, that's my baseball season, right? Is being out there with the kids and teaching them the game. And there's just so much to learn from the game itself. And I think that's what's really, my favorite part of the summer.
Yeah, for me, I mean, living in Minnesota, who else can you root for but the Twins? I mean, a lot of bad seasons, but good thing that during the 80s and 90s when I was really into baseball, we come home and we turn on WGN. We got the Cubs. You got the TBS with the Braves. Occasionally you get another team on there. So, yeah, my heart's with Minnesota, but overall I sit down, watch a good game. I'm just like every other sports. If I get a good game, I'm good. Grew up a Kirby Puckett fan, so I know Shady, sorry for 91, but, I mean, that was honestly probably the best World Series for me. I mean, Game 7, great pitchers duel. That could have went either way. But, I kept playing baseball up through my mid-30s out here in, Northfield, kind of hung it up. Just, there's my son. You did? Yeah. So, went to a couple rookie tryouts that the Twins host every year. So, stuff like that. So, but no, I love baseball. I love watching the little leaguers play. I love watching, definitely the major leaguers play, go to St. Paul Saints games. Just that interaction. I think it is more of a bonding experience with me and my son, just like that. But no, but yeah, we can get into some topics that we always like to talk about.
Yeah, well, B, why don't we, since this is the pilot episode essentially, and this was all kind of your idea, I'm going to let you kind of tell us what the format of the show is going to be and what it'll kind of look like as we go through the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season, so we're going to have a lot to talk about. I mean, definitely talk about the past week in baseball, upcoming matchups, maybe some hot topics that come up. I mean, like Shady brought up, and we can talk about it. Cal Raleigh struggling already. Should have, in my eyes, Shady, you probably agree, should have been MVP last year. I think he got robbed on that, but I mean, outside of that, keep updated on our teams that we like. Keep any moves. Maybe bring out a topic here or there that everybody's always wanted to talk about, because I know I want to get your guys' opinion on a couple topics. But yeah, so kind of just open forum and just see how baseball goes, and if something pops up, we got the Sunday night game, so we can always live score that. And
I was gonna say, as a Minnesota show, Big B, Zebby Matthews. I coached him at Smoky Mountain. He was a freshman when Cal was a senior. He's in, I want to say, y'all's farm program, but he should be coming back this year.
Yep, nope, he is in our farm program. Matter of fact, I was able to meet him last year at a meet and greet for the Twins Caravan. Didn't have nothing for him to sign. And then I pulled.
What are you talking about? You got that big bald head, B.
Yeah, no. But then got a couple packs of baseballs, and the first card I pulled out the next day was a Zebby Matthews. But yeah, Minnesota kid. Definitely, love watching hearing about the Minnesota kids growing up and playing. I mean, somebody will probably comment my feelings on Joe Bauer.
True story.
He's got the talent. He had the talent. He wasn't the locker room guy I grew up watching. He wasn't the Puckett, the Herbex, and stuff like that. And he got paid to be it. And, there's just some things that kind of bug me, but, it is what it is. But let's start off opening day. I mean, Aaron Judge went 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. Everybody's talking about how he slumped already. Shady, you brought up.
It's 5 at-bats out of how many they'll take this year, and he's done. He's cooked.
Well, yeah, and that's what one of the radio personalities I heard say. It's only 5 at bats, but then they start talking about how he played in the World Baseball Classic. Did that put a toll on him? So, I mean, I want to get your guys' thought. I mean, yeah, it's only 5 at bats, but I mean, did the World Baseball Classic kind of put a wear and tear on these guys that are starting off slow? Shady, I'll start with you.
Oh, 100%. 100%. As a guy, I'll say this will be an unpopular take, and I'd love it if any professionals want to chime in on this, because I don't know anything at that level. But I can tell you that when they take you out of the format you're used to and be in the MLB, that's about the same format, but this was the World Baseball Classic. So everyone on the USA team had their strict schedule. You can't do more than this. You can't do less than this. Because you had to be in shape coming in, but you couldn't do too much to where you're injured. Because, look at the Braves. Everybody on the Braves is injured. So, I don't know. I think it affected more of
Shady,
them.
For the casual fan, real quick, can you just explain the World Baseball Classic and kind of explain how it's different? I know it's kind of a part of spring training, right? Yeah, it's in that time period, but this is competitive baseball for these guys.
Oh, it's they're very competitive. So basically every nation that has a program, which would be, I assume, pretty much quite a couple of them, probably over 50 or 60. So they'll weed it down out of the tiers. So there will be like the Netherlands and some other people that are still heavy hitters, but you just don't think about them. The Netherlands would include people like Andrew Jones, Ozzie Albies. I'm trying to think of some other people that were pitchers, but maybe I can't remember. But anyways, the Netherlands was part of Curacao, Jerkson Profar, Jonathan Scope. But some of these smaller nations that are really tiny will have really good teams like Venezuela and stuff like that. So when they break them up, they're broke up a part of, and you can claim different territories and stuff like that too. Like Austin Wells was playing for the Netherlands or somebody like that. But they'll break it down. And I think that, I don't know how many teams were in it, but I think the format's basically 20 some teams, and then they'll do pool play, and then it'll break down into brackets.
Yeah, it's like the Olympics on the side, or soccer playoffs, where they start off with all these teams, they play down, and then they get the championship game, and which was a good one. I mean,
but where some of these guys have been playing for a decade, that are now a part of this competitive stretch where you're expected to perform at a high level, the highest of levels, in the beginning of the season, where most guys would have a very slow ramp up, right? You're preparing for a 162 game season that lasts 7 months essentially, right? Especially if you're dipping into the playoffs. So you're kind of getting out there and pushing your body like it's at mid-season form, but you're doing it in week 3 of practice.
Yeah, with playoff adrenaline.
Yep. Yeah, every game matters. I mean, heard all the interviews and how everybody loves wearing the colors for their country. Some said it means a lot more than AKA their team colors, but
I think it was Logan Webb. Logan Webb took the mound, and for his entire MLB career, he's never thrown a ball over 98 miles an hour.
Yeah,
I think he was topping out at 101.
Yeah,
it's hold on, whoa, buddy.
yeah, that adrenaline does get it flowing, but So yeah, that's the baseball classic, and I know U.S. didn't win it, but who ended up winning?
Venezuela.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Acuna and all them.
Yeah. So Aaron Judge starts off slow. Kyle Raleigh starting off slow, but
Bregman.
Bregman hit 2 home runs today.
Yeah.
Oh, he come around.
Yeah.
Let's give it up for
they lost 6-3, but he hit 2 home runs.
He's on Aaron Rodgers treatment.
Like I said, it's so early, and especially for teams that are still. I mean, like it's been a really bad winter in New York City, so I don't know if the Yankees were at home starting out their season.
No, they started out away all week.
Yep.
Right. Well, and that's what the Cubs usually do. I was really surprised.
And that's what I think a lot of northern teams, Midwest teams should do is start off south unless you have a dome. Because we never know what it's going to be like here.
Twins were in Baltimore, right?
Yeah, Twins were in Baltimore this week to start off, and then I think they're off tomorrow. No, they play the Royals, so they come back up. So might be a little chilly one up there.
So their home opener is this week?
Their home opener is let's see here. Let's see. Twin schedule. You think I would know? I think it's on Wednesday, April.
What's their stadium like?
Their home opener is the 13th against the Red Sox. No, that can't be right. No. Royals, Twins. They open up with the Rays on the 3rd, Friday. Their stadium, it's nice. I mean, it's definitely you can walk around and still see the game as you're walking around. There's not a bad seat in the place.
No, it's nice, man. We were on the concourse. We had outfield bleacher seats in the left field power alley, right against the bullpen.
Yeah, you see the sky, you see downtown from your seats, and I wish they would have put I wish they would have put a retractable dome on there or a roof on there because it can get cold up here. But I did go to the second game of the Target Field opener, and it started sprinkling. Nobody moved. Everybody started cheering because they're up there. It's sprinkling. It was a nice day. So, but yeah, it's a nice stadium. Definitely, if you're in town, Shady, we're going to hook up and go catch the game.
Yeah, I got dream plans of like a trip to all the cool stadiums. You got to go to Dodgers, got to go to Wrigley.
I got to get to Wrigley. That is a bucket list of mine. I used to want to get to KC when they had the waterfalls and stuff. But since they've taken them out and talking about rebuilding, I'm just like, if I get there, I get there. But
have y'all heard anything about the Brave Stadium? Do y'all know anything about it? Not the old one. This one, the truest.
The new one, no.
See, this is what I don't understand because, like, that's why I asked with Minnesota because they used to have the dome, and like my old habit was playing Twitch, so I played baseball on Twitch all the time. I love playing at the Twins' old stadium because the lefty Joe Mauer, Morneau, any of them guys, they put it out there in the seats. But anyways, they don't like glorify like these stadiums like we did, like growing up, man, like Fenway and Yankee stadiums, the house Ruth built, and all this stuff. Sorry, kids, my Sandlot moment here. But if you go to Truist, they went out to East Cobb. They said Atlanta's getting too packed. I think this is what Ted Turner was thinking. He's just old. He was like, "Oh, it's too packed in Atlanta. Get out of here." He went out to East Cobb and bought so much land and built a circus and put a baseball field in the middle of it. You don't even park at this place. You take trains into this place like it's Disney.
Really?
Yes, I'm not playing. You have to cross bridges to get into this place. And then when you even if you're really, at the cheapest seat in the house, you're in the outfield, you can zip line back to that said platform. You can zip line across the stadium, across the park, back to your car.
No way.
I swear on everything. If you do that, you may miss a chance for T.I., Eric Church. One of these guys might just be parked outside because this thing takes up 8 blocks. There's a movie theater. There's a movie theater. There's shopping restaurants, a Hilton hotel, an outdoor pool that's over the center field wall. And this is all just behind the stadium. Yeah, they should really add another camera up here that shows this thing. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to see if we can find some video on that. But
It's
I'm
Universal
looking it up right now.
yeah,
It's Universal Studios.
so yeah, they're always had nicknames for stadiums, like you said. The house that Ruth built, Fenway Park, and stuff like that. But sometimes the basic stadiums are just enough. I mean, sometimes they're getting just a little bit too fancy, and it's just going to cost the people more to go. So, I know we're big ball guys, and I know I've talked about it on my other shows with C2C. What's your guys' thoughts on the analytics part of the game, the extra runner and the extra innings? Shady, what's your thoughts?
Wait, the extra what? An extra innings?
The growth runner on second, they call it, and the analytics plays.
I hate it. I mean, just because it's trying to speed up the game. I understand baseball is slow and everything, but just throwing a guy on second base, last out goes to second base. All right, like hold on a minute. Now we're gonna start like telling people to stop running the bases that don't want to do it, because they hit home runs. I mean, I get it. The ABS system, on the other hand, as a pitcher, I kind of like it because there was tons of calls that I wanted overturned, but at the same time,
at least wanted a second look, right? A second opinion.
I don't know if I've got like a South Park opinion, but like I feel like the umpires they took our jabs.
Bubba, what's your thought?
Yeah, I really wasn't following everything coming in, so I was a little surprised. I don't even know all the challenge rules on the challenges that they've had for a couple of seasons either, and they're probably always changing. I don't follow the game close enough to keep up with a lot of this stuff, but I think it was inevitable, right? As technology gets better and better. I mean, and exactly what kind of Shady just alluded to, like it's only a matter of time before it's just the machines doing it. Yeah. It's just the cameras capturing it. There are no umpires on the field. And eventually it's, it's Futurama and it's that crazy game they play in there, right? Like, it's ball or whatever. The
analytics and the challenges. I mean, get the call right. Okay, I can understand wanting to do that. I mean, because face it, if we look at Twins history, Ron Gang getting pulled off first base probably gets overturned, and that changes the World Series. Joe Bauer had a bloop double that got called back against, I think, Oakland, right on the foul line. They called it foul, and it was fair. So, I mean, there's moments there, but the runner at second base, for me, it's one of those where I wish they wouldn't do it right away, but if the game got later to like the 13th, 14th inning, then possibly let's throw it out there. But I mean,
well, and it came down to, it wasn't even time. It was wear and tear on your team, right? When you're pulling, and for the Cubs, years ago, Anthony Rizzo would always come on it. It's the 13th inning and Riz is out there throwing 40-mile-an-hour Shady lollipops, throwing BP, right? And
top, man, that's it.
Hey, I promise you, I can make it move. That I understand, because at the end of the day, and I think everyone here is very aware of it, but other fans need to be as well, and especially purists of the game, that this is a business. Yep. These are billion-dollar companies. These are tens of millions of dollar athletes. Somebody going out and throwing out an arm in the 17th inning of a game that everybody in the stands has left, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's no different than football. I mean, look at the overtime football rules in the regular season and what you're kind of doing in there to just try and get a decision, right? So I don't really have a problem with it. It's definitely weird to see it. I think like the implementation of it, even as we get more used to it, but 5 more years go by and it's just the way that it's always been, and you don't even realize it. So I feel like things like this they're always a shock to the system when it's brand new, and then everybody gets used to it. And these leagues have gone through enough big changes like this that they're not afraid of those moments, maybe like they were 20 years ago. I mean, there was a time when instant replay wasn't a part of sports at all.
No.
Right. And that's even hard to like remember. You would get them on the broadcast, but they wouldn't be using them in the game and on the field. So, and that was another thing that people, the challenges and all the things were screaming for. But I think it's made the game more fair in a lot of ways. And yeah,
just looking at the night's game, by the way. Hello, Danielle. 4-0 Seattle, end of 4. So looks like Donovan went deep for a 3-run shot, maybe. Kyle Rowley's 0 for 2, but we're not going to talk about what they're doing because we never talk about it because we won't jinx it. But so moving on, you guys talk about kind of the money aspect of things and changing. And does baseball need a salary cap? Shady?
Oh, man. I'm going to say this for everybody on YouTube that does, or anybody that does baseball content. The lockout is coming, boys. Our chances are still alive. Yes. I don't know, man. I studied sport management. So, like, I studied the Sherman antitrust law, like, where it all even, like, really started between, like, having to pay people differently. Like, Ruth really started the whole thing of like, hey, we got to pay this guy something different. He's doing more than anybody else.
Nope.
But now here we are, and you kind of got to have a hard argument because in doing sport management, I also got to see how much the guys in the Premier League make.
Yeah.
So if we think people are making money, God, that league don't even equal Neymar's contract.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy the money that's in this football, right? But also none of those. I've never seen a football, soccer stadium empty, right? Like they sell out every single weekend.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. They actually are sold out generationally. If you die, they call your kid. If they don't pick up, they call the next of kin. That's in O2 Arena in London. They do that. You telling me that Bank of America's doing that? Hey, David Tepper, I'm talking to you.
So we were talking about the zip line and so I found a video and I'm going to roll this and shout out to Coy Wire and them, but I want to bring this onto the stage and I got to see it, man.
Told you it was real. Oh man, is this the news?
With my friend Sarah, and you may say, "What's going on?" I'm strapped in to a zip line, but we got to talk about some of the other things going on here at this stadium. They have games like an amusement park. They have a rock climbing wall. This place is incredible because they have to figure out how to get fans out of their couches and out in front of their 60-inch plasma screen and here to the ballpark. So one of the coolest things, Sarah, this is the first ever and only zip line in a pro sports stadium, and we're about to try it out. I'm with my friend Meredith, and she has challenged me to a race down the zip line. Her grandfather, Ron, is watching at home, so you better bring it, because you know what happens if you lose.
And this is the whole outfield wall they're about to go down.
We're going to see you in a little bit. Wish me luck, guys. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go!
All the way down right field.
Good stuff, Coy. Makes me a little.
Wow.
So I grew up close to Sturgis motorcycle rally and famously the Buffalo Chip Campground. And that's what they do, right? It's all bikes, but it's a circus. There's a zip line and there's freaking carnival games and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, but I mean, this is where the stadium experience is going. When you got your kids out there and you're bringing your, young kids, you got to have something to engage all of these people when they're coming out. And obviously that means you get to charge more for your tickets because you're providing an experience, not just the game. I think you're going to see more and more stuff like this. And you really, you are seeing it around it. And I think baseball lends itself to more fun stuff like this more than football because you kind of have to pay attention to football a little bit more, right?
Violent.
It's a different experience.
I think too that thinking about it, Toronto when they built the Sky Dome, whatever it's called now, they had the Hard Rock Cafe out there. So, I mean, it was kind of like, hey, let's go out and eat. And, you probably had to buy the ticket, but you got to watch a game while you're playing. I know when they're talking about, building the new Twin Stadium, there was some rumblings that, hey, how about we get rid of Camp Snoopy and let's put the baseball stadium there around the mall and make it, so they were talking about that, and which would have been a kind of a cool idea. But, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to go out to Atlanta and, see what the prices are and, kind of see what's going on around there.
And it cannot be expensive to fly from Minnesota to Atlanta. Those are two of the biggest hubs in the country. So, and vice versa for you, Shady. So I think we make a couple of games happen this year on the show and everybody getting together. We'll shoot some content in the stadium and to do our own little tours, right? If Bleacher Report can get access, well, so can SPSN.
That's right.
Yeah, that is right. So another topic that always comes up, especially with people, new people getting around. Barry Bonds, Pete Rose, should they be in the Hall of Fame? Should they not be? Bubba, I'll start with you. What do you think?
We are. I think we should juice them all up and see what happens. That's my own personal opinion.
Well, the thing is everybody has seen it, and Shady, you could probably 100% agree with this. Everybody said the hardest thing to do is hit a fastball.
Yeah. So, no matter how big you are, like you still have the hand-eye coordination. Being a little bit faster definitely helps that. But you're talking about somebody who wasn't using them in the prime of his career.
Nope.
He was using them to extend the career that he had. I mean, he wasn't in the greatest shape ever. But you're talking about a man who grew up in the league. He'd been playing, right? Wasn't he like 17 when he came into the league too?
Yeah, he was pretty young.
Yeah.
Super young, right? So you talk about someone who's seen more pitches than maybe anybody on the planet up to that point.
Well, and look who his godfather is. I mean,
right. Now, was he going to be whacking them out, 100 yards into the bay, without a little help? We'll never know. The world will never know. But
that's what I always say too is
where every pitch is a paycheck, and other guys are doing it. That's a tough time, man. That's a tough time to be a ball player when everybody's doing something that's in a gray area. How do you not? And it's a shame. The Pete Rose thing, get Pete Rose in the damn Hall of Fame. Like, that's ridiculous.
He's gonna be.
Yeah.
He's on what's called a probation period. It's got 2 more years, and then he'll be inducted in. And I really wish I'd do those 2 guys' names that sat down with his daughter. I don't know who they are. Those 2 guys are going to hell. Like, who goes and sits down with the guy's daughter after he dies and it's like, hey, listen, now that he's dead, we can let him in the Hall of Fame. Like, that's hard. A 2-year probationary period is probably the best thing for it. That way everybody gets calmed down. I would punch that guy in the head.
Yeah, it's not fair. Not fair to the man that gave everything. And now you've seen all the betting scandals that have gone on around these other sports leagues since then. And it's atrocious. One of the best that ever played the game.
And the thing is, you banned him, but you still use all his footage from the All-Star game, all his, what's that?
They still idolize the player.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. To me, if you wanted to put him in as just the all-time hits leader and not say anything about his managerial career, I'm fine with that. And honestly, now that he's passed, I kind of wish the family would just say, no, we don't want to put him in there. Let him. And that's just me. I mean, he does belong in there. I do believe, but I back the family 100%. They said, no, we don't want to put him in. You didn't want him in there when he was alive. We don't want him in now, but. Barry Bonds, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think the guy was on a Hall of Fame career before the roids. All it did was make him stronger, make him hit fly balls that were probably warning track power into the seats and home runs, like Bubba said, into the bay. So,
and what a show! That's why I say juice them all up, man. Those seasons were electric, man. Sosa and McGuire and dude, those were awesome times, man.
That honestly brought baseball back with the Sosa. And that is what really brought baseball back was the Sosa McGuire home run battle, because every day when they started getting hot, you're looking at the scoreboard and be like, okay, what did McGuire do? Oh, he didn't do anything. Oh, Sosa hit one, so now he's above him. I mean, it was just a battle back and forth, and it was definitely something to bring back. And I mean, Shady, I know you said it, and Bubba, we probably are thinking the same thing. With the lockout, what's going to bring baseball back next time? I mean, what are they going to do?
The juice. That's what I'm telling you, man. Let them all.
You got me dragging one down. Barry Bonds. Yes, he's got to be. He's got to be. I mean, not only. I mean, Pete Rose is probably arguably the greatest player ever. Mickey Mantle, y'all can all throw that out there and everything. But that was kind of the argument with Cal Raleigh almost winning the MVP last year. Is the fact that he got to 60. So I've seen all this in person. I haven't seen Barry Bonds in person hit the ball in the bay. I would really pay to go back in time, but that time machine ain't here. I've seen Sammy, I've seen Mark, and I've seen other people, and I've trained with Alan Thomas, who is the strength and conditioning coach with the White Sox. Can't teach it. I've seen some of the greatest athletes. I played against Madison. I coached Cal. I've never seen what Barry Bonds was doing, and I don't know. Go to ends of the earth, and I guarantee you won't find it.
Yeah.
If you want to punish it, I don't understand. That's like put that guy or anybody that doesn't want Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame, anybody that expelled Simone Biles from the Olympics, all y'all just need to get on an island. Because it don't make no sense. You can't make rules about stuff that other people can do. It's not fair. It's not their fault that they're special.
No, I totally agree. I mean, they definitely need to get in. I mean, Barry Bonds Barry Bonds was a student of the game. I mean, he, watching some documentaries, some interviews that he's, that's been floating around on the internet. And, he's just a student of the game. He can go back. There's one that's talk about him versus Greg Maddux. And he could talk every pitch by pitch on what he was thinking, and Maddux does the same thing. I mean,
got a real story for you.
All right.
Bubba referenced it earlier, and he said, "Can you make it move?" What he's doing is he's making a joke at me. When the Braves actually sent a scout to actually talk to me, and they said, "Hey, Mr. Grady, can you make it?" They didn't call me Mister. They said, "Hey, bitch. Can you make it move?" And I said, "Yeah, I can," but I couldn't. So I lied to him, and after one pitch, he went walking back up. But I got lucky with the people I got surrounded by, like, as I played. I never got to, play in the pros, but I was really lucky everybody I was surrounded by. One guy it was a week-long showcase of, I guess really the best kids coming up in the South. USA had their thing, Team USA did the junior thing, and that's where the main players were. But, then you had, little sub ones. This one was for the Southeast region. And Greg Maddux, pitching coach, was down there. And I remember he told us a story one day about him and Javi Lopez down there. And he said that they were betting Greg money. John and Tom were betting Greg money how many he could put in the mitt, but they were going to blindfold Javi. And the coaches came in about that time, and they were like, "You're about to do what?" No, you're not. You're not doing this to our main catcher. So Eddie, I think they let Eddie do it. So Eddie got the blindfold, put it on, and Greg proceeded. The pitching coach stood next to Eddie and told Eddie when to close the glove. Greg proceeded to hit 9 out of 10 in the glove. Said the first one, Eddie closed the mitt too soon. And it never hit Eddie once. And I'm like, that's a different level, man.
Well, that is a different level because, I mean, I saw they were talking to Maddux about, I think it was Javi, matter of fact. They were talking to the catcher about the pitch call. He's like, Greg Maddux called his own pitches. I didn't lay one finger down. He just gave me the signal, and I put my glove there, and that's where it was. So
it's different.
I honestly do wish the Braves pitching staff that they have with Maddux and Smoltz and Glavine were able to win a lot more than what they did. I mean, that trio is my top three, arguably the best trio of pitching around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, those teams, man, but it just shows you how difficult the baseball season is, which really makes it one of the greatest professional sports that we have, to stay locked in mentally for 162 games and to go out there and to give everything, and then that's just to get into the playoffs and have to go and play under that pressure. Stadiums full of people, and like I said at the top of the show, that it comes down to one man against another man, and maybe another one in the field making a play. Like I love that. Yes, it's a team sport, but it takes exceptional individual talent to bring it all together. So it just shows you, how great the game is.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a team sport, but yet it's still kind of one-on-one, because you got a pitcher and the batter. And pitcher's trying to get the batter out. The batter's trying to, do what he can to help his team get some runs, get on base, and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a combination of one-on-one plus the ability of a team aspect, because, so.
I forgot. We hadn't said anything about Paul Skenes yet. We can't be a baseball show and not talk about poor Paul Skenes. What do y'all think is going to happen with the entire season? Did y'all see the first outing he had?
Two and a third innings and 4 or 5 runs. ERA 6.7.
I don't even know if he made it that long.
No, he did. He did. Cause, I had a buddy text me, goes, "Oh, Paul Skenes got shelled." I'm just like, "What?" And,
he didn't really get shelled, but O'Neal definitely did not help him.
Yeah. They're saying, everybody's saying that O'Neal dropped a couple easy ones. He went 2/3, 4 hits, 5 runs. 2 walks, a strikeout, 37 pitches, and a 6.5 ERA.
Bubba, you could talk
67. Yeah, they look pretty easy, but again,
Pittsburgh, or did he get traded last year?
No, he's still in Pittsburgh.
Well,
that's didn't get him any help either.
Yeah, that's his problem. Plays for a terrible organization.
Yeah. And again,
honestly,
money
they
talks.
did right by him. 35. You could have left him in there, but why?
No, they got him.
Why?
Well,
why would you leave your best player, the only guy that's selling tickets, and leave him out there to do it? Right, he'll be fine, man. Guy's a great pitcher.
Well, and that's why I talk about analytics, because in the 80s or 70s, 90s, your starter had to go 6-7 innings before you got to the bullpen. Now it's, can we get it through 5? The guy's throwing a 1-hitter through 5, has 70 pitches. We need to pull them, and it's just like, God, let him go. Let him, let's take the rope off and just let this guy go. I mean, the Twins did that the opening day. Ryan, I think, pitched 5 1/3. Couple hits, had a shutout going, looking fine, and and then of course they pull them, and it all fell apart.
Yeah. Well, I think there's 2 things, especially early in the season. You have
I get the early in the season talk, but again, they're professionals. Let them, I mean, preseason. It used to be, the first couple games, the pitcher threw an inning, the hitters all got 1 at bat. Now it's like that through the whole preseason. I don't think anybody, you might get a pitcher to pitch a couple innings, but, everybody's taking like 1 at bat here and there throughout the game. And, it's not like how it used to be. I mean, everything changes.
Yeah, I'll agree. Like, I don't know, like 50%. It depends on who the heck is coaching. You got to realize, like, even from college, we did that system pretty much everywhere, because you'll only get 5 to 7. If you're a weekend starter, you might get that little bit extra if you're a senior. But really, it's Johnny Holstaff, and just the amount of info that goes into it. The amount of people that go into it, like the room, I was in junior college, and the amount of pitchers we had the first day was 72.
Wow.
And you got to weed that down to 25. So it's like, do we even know each other?
Yeah.
Well, and I think so much of coaching was just in a feel, right? Some of the old movies, give me one more, coach. Give me one more. And guy, you're just going off of watching him. Now you have all the analytics to say, look, man, that ball ain't moving like it did. He's lost 2 miles an hour off the fastball. He's cooked.
Oh yeah.
And the other half of that is, I think trying to maybe get a little bit more out of these players, not just over the course of the season, but over the course of a career. I don't know what kind of language is being put in some of these contracts either about things, because guys want to play as long as they can, right? That's their livelihood. So maybe they're not willing to go and to throw that extra inning, knowing that it might lead to an early Tommy John surgery, right? It may lead to an early shoulder surgery. So, and because it's not just the teams and the coaches that are looking at the analytics, it's the players as well. And now we're able to look at not just the speed and spin and all that, but we have technology to look at the biomechanics and to say, hey, you're dipping here, you're going to cause an injury because of this, right? So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it now, and I think ultimately it makes the game better. It doesn't make it more pure, if that makes sense, right? Like it doesn't take it back to the 20s, right? We're never going to get back to that level, but I think it makes for a better product across the board.
That's why I argue you can get that pure. You just got to go to that. The World Series is the only thing that's that pure.
Yeah. And the thing is that's why the 7 no-hitters, Noah Ryan through all the complete games. Those records aren't going to be broken. No. And I got to say, I might not be a big Dodgers fan like I was in the 80s with Hershiser and Venezuela and all that. But Yonemoto, when he came and said that, I'm pitching in the World Series if needed, he was ready to go, and they brought him in.
He's a psycho.
Yeah, I got to say, give him respect. And go back to, Jack Morris, Game 7. You knew he wasn't coming out anytime soon with how close that game was.
The talent level across the board is leaps and bounds better than the years past. I don't know that you have better, the standout players are better, but the floor has been raised to such an exorbitant a level than it was even in, I would say, the 80s. How many of these guys were ripping darts like Grady and slamming a beer in the dugout, coming back out, maybe a little, and back on the field, like, right? Come on. We've all seen the dance at this point and what the Bulls were doing before Jordan got there. So, I think some of these activities are pretty ubiquitous.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely, it changed the game. Still the same game. The players definitely are a lot better. This is probably the one sport where I would probably take current players over old school players in a 7-game series, because they're just bigger and better. It'd be tough.
No, I'm with you. I want the new players too, but both of y'all guys have said it. But Big B, you said it first, but I'm gonna say it differently. Hitting and pitching. Hitting is all about timing. Pitching is about messing up that timing.
Yep.
And you just said it with the other one. Like, really, it all comes down to that, and I can't remember really where I was going with that. I was too busy trying to light that cigarette. Sorry about that.
It is. Hitting is, they're all about timing, and everybody says it. His timing's a little off this week, and that's why they probably take a little break here, a couple of days, just to get back in there. And pitching is there to, definitely mess up the timing, because if somebody's got a good curveball, good sinker, good knuckleball, and starts throwing fastballs, and then throws that off-speed stuff, we've seen hitters look really ridiculous on some bad swings.
Well, they've just been – that's what I was going to say. They've been cutting down the mistakes. Baseball is a game of mistakes. 3 out of 10, you're a Hall of Famer. So the less mistakes you make, and they've been figuring out backspin and all this. They're looking at analytics completely different. So look for some raw-based Dominican who goes really hard. Netherlands, Venezuelan, Puerto Rico, dominate. Come out of nowhere in the next
guys coming over from Japan and stuff every year.
Those guys are super strict.
Yeah.
Trust me, Japan does not play around. From 12 years old, no family. No, you don't get to see your family. Did you win or lose? You lost. No family this week.
Well, we saw it in Mr. Baseball, how strict they were and stuff like that. It probably got worse. I mean,
I'm telling you.
But
yeah, B, any special segments for the show or plans for stuff like that? Obviously, we'll touch on standings as we get further into the season. I don't think any of it matters right now. I know the Cubs lost their first series of the year to the Nationals. They're 1-2, but in a 162 game season, meh.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody's you got the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Marlins, Yankees, and Toronto all battling for an unbeatable season right now, standing 3-0. I know a lot of Yankee fans think that's going to happen, but it's not. But yeah. No. Maybe next week we give our little year predictions after we see the baseball a little bit. I mean, even money. I mean, everybody's probably saying the Dodgers are going to do it because all they did was reload, and stuff like that. Yankees, so maybe we.
My prediction is we don't make it through the season. That's why players go on strike. There we go.
Dude, if that happens, man, if that happens, they're going to have to really think about something to really get the baseball fans back. I was
gonna say I'll make a prediction. All
right, go ahead.
I'll make a prediction for Gold Glove.
Okay.
We're going with Alec Thomas, Arizona Diamondbacks. He's getting the start this year. I bet he wins a Gold Glove in his first year.
Ooh, that'd be something.
I would love some. We'll get some betting in here. B, you work at a casino, don't you?
I do, but we do not have legal betting.
Oh, you're like the only casino on the planet right now.
Every casino around Minnesota has legalized betting. No, where I work at, we have a plan in place. Once that sucker goes live and we can bet it, it'll probably be in our casino the next day. So
perfect. Have the marketing team get a hold of me.
Okay.
Shady bets.
I'm telling you, we already got the segments built.
Yeah. I'm excited. This was, our opening day for 7-8-9. Can't wait to see what the other, handful of weeks goes, where the show goes and who we can have on. I mean, Shady, always welcome. I know, we'll be reaching out to a lot of other people to try to get them on. So,
yeah, I mean, just an excuse to talk ball. That's all it is. We're not going to get too specific with the teams. Obviously, we'll talk about, top stories in the MLB. We're going to cover a little bit of our 3 favorite teams. Shady, if you're going to be in all the time, obviously, we're going to talk Braves. We're going to talk Cubs. We're going to talk Twins and things that are going on with those teams. And I think just having an excuse to talk ball every week for me is really a blessing. It gives me a reason to kind of tune into the MLB during the entire season. We don't get a lot of games out here. I don't pay for ESPN or any of those things really. So, but I follow along enough to stay in it. And really, I mean, things don't start heating up until July. So
yeah, July around the All-Star break,
boys, just wait till you see how I use this new show to get us in these stadiums and get some special treatment. So that's all I'm saying.
I'm all on the board.
Creator of the year for a reason. Not wait to get this show out there. Great reason for us to reach out to these stadiums, to reach out to the teams, and to get some of these people on the show with us and come in and talk. And if we're willing to bring in some interview segments, and this could become a longer show, obviously keeping it a little shorter tonight as we get our feet under us. But I think there's some really great stuff coming from this show, and nice to just dip into the sports world and all of them. And I know we talked about a hockey show, this year. I don't know if we'll quite get that off the ground this season, If the Wild make a deep run, maybe I'll consider something else.
Well, if the Wild and Wolves make the playoffs, I mean, I guess we got to have a show here and there. I mean, even if it's both together, I mean, so.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We're just getting our feet wet here. Shady, appreciate you tuning in with us, man. Always a pleasure. Can't wait to get some golf content out there. I know Shady got his skunked golf.
Hey, thank y'all.
Yeah, the great people, man. And you know what? I know B can't get the day off of work for the Skunked Classic in June. Although, did that change because your schedule changed too?
I could try to see, but yeah, it's going to be no, it's not, because we have a big concert that weekend. We have Rock the Island, so we got a lot of rock bands coming in. Buck Cherry's headlining, I think. So a 2-day event. So yeah, I will not.
I'm going to pick you up in Minneapolis. We're going to hit the concert, and then we're going to drive through the night to get to the Skunked Classic. And
well, you can just pick up Cody, and he'll do all the driving. So I mean,
I like where your head's at, B. Me and Shady can pop in the back and do what kids do in the back of the bus.
Pass out.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, B, great idea. Appreciate you co-hosting this one and being part of it. We'll keep it going. Tune in every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time and check out the 789 baseball show for my co-hosts, Big B, and our special guest, Shady Grady. I'm Bubba Starts, and we'll see you next Sunday.
See you guys.
Have a good one.